Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames and messieurs, welcome to Bit Podcast, the channel. At the end of the day is the name of the show. I am your host, Jason Marinchuk. I am joined this week by Kyle from the Two Tongues Podcast and Matt Erickson from the Real King Pilled Podcast and show to talk about how brilliant I am. I'm a fucking oracle. Did you not know? Did you not know that you are graced, my gentlemen, by the new Oracle of Delphi? Yes, I am sitting on a gas. Oracle of Perth. Yeah, that's right. I'm sitting on a gas main, having hallucinations, visions of the future, and you can come over and pay me and give me some shekels, and I will read the tea leaves and figure things out for you. If you are confused at what I'm trying to tell you, you haven't heard about my apple pie prediction yet. Oh, let me inform you, folks. You kind folks, about how smart I am.
Here's my other prediction, and you guys can hold on to this. I'm gonna make a clip. Hold on to this. I won't say how many years it'll take because that's beyond me. But when wokeism is done and is never mentioned again ever, right? Or used in like only referential kind of things, like whoo, what a crazy time, what a crazy decade, right? After that happens, there'll be a period of normalization, and then the next thing is that all these screaming liberals, Bill Maher's and all the people wherever that, will flip a script into becoming neo-traditionalists, like some sort of a version of Peterson overnight. And people in your family who are blue-haired, gender fluid, et cetera, will be wearing very nice frocks and talking about apple pie. I guarantee it.
Oh. What? Okay. So you think people thought when I said this, he's crazy. Meshuggah. What are you talking about? Now we have who's this woman now? Nala from OnlyFans going on Knowles, becoming a new born again Christian. Formerly of OnlyFans, becoming a born again Christian, looking for redemption, and everyone's freaking out. And now the conversation, of course, is coming to like, well, should we marry these OnlyFans women, like these weird anons who think they I love this conversation because it's a lot of these people. I was in the King Pilled VC a few days ago. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. The conversation got spirited because I decided to start drop kicking people in the mouth over this conversation, being the old guy in the room. But I asked at one point because it was
you got to put the glasses on. You got to put the glasses on if you're gonna go into character like this.
Wait, okay. The reason why I'm wearing contacts now is because I need bifocals, and I haven't got the bifocals yet. So now I got my readers. So now, being the old man of the group, y'all shut up. I still got my hair, man. So, right. Being the old man of the group, I was in that VC getting a little bit frustrated with the conversation going on. And I asked the question, hey, how many guys in this room are married right now? But a show of hands. No hands went up. And I was like, okay. So I'm going to kick it over to you boys for a second.
Oh, man. It's funny. I've been.
Wait till I get a gold tooth in this one.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're gonna have to get like a monocle.
I've been threatening my wife with it for years now, and I'm like, I'm on the brink. Go ahead.
I've been talking about this on King Pilled. Cooper and I have been getting into this the last few episodes, and it's kind of funny. It was just sort of we've had our different bits that we've been on at various different times. We did the Generations thing. We did the PayPal Mafia thing. We've done a bunch of these different things, and we started talking about this like masculine, feminine archetype dynamic and all the different ways that it plays out in society at all different levels of scale. It's really the fundamental element of human interaction is the masculine and the feminine and the way those things manifest and how they interact with one another. And so we just started talking about this. I didn't even know about this Nala chick. I didn't know anything about that. I only heard about it because people started like saying stuff to us. I haven't been on Twitter that much lately. I've been really busy with work. And so I really been following the conversation. And here everyone starts talking about this Nala chick. So I went and did a little look into it, and I was like, well, damn, Jason's right. Jason's absolutely right.
Yeah, I just I think it was last night.
This whole show, by the way, is just like how great I am. This is we're in Lent, but I'm leaning right into pride. Like
I just did a 2-hour show.
We don't go around, we go through. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
You're good, man. I did a show yesterday, I believe, about Nala, and since this whole thing came out, I've been kind of right from the beginning. I've been on it because she was on an episode of the Whatever podcast that Andrew Wilson from The Crucible was on, and I like Andrew, so I, against my better judgment, I watched those Whatever podcasts because I fucking hate those things, man. It's miserable to watch those things. But yeah, she was on that one. And, back then she was at the height of her, OnlyFans, making millions of dollars on OnlyFans. And as soon as she became Christian, I kind of I'm like, let's give her the benefit of the doubt. And so I've kind of been coming at it from more of a religious thing, not necessarily let's talk about marrying this woman. But I tend to line up kind of with the kind of stuff that Matt and Cooper have been talking about on their show recently. I just don't think that these people are completely irredeemable, just like I've done a bunch of fucked up stuff, man. And here I am trying to be better every day, so that's where I'm coming at it from.
Yeah, no. Okay. Let's do the Christian thing for a second. Because I think this is where people get really confused. And it's like, I was thinking about this yesterday. People talk a lot of shit, but they don't. But when they actually have to live the shit or do the shit, then suddenly it's crickets. Though you brought this up, Kyle, on your last show talking about this. Blessed Father Severum Rose famously said that the best position for an Orthodox Christian specifically to take is that they are the worst sinner in the world. So you, me, I am the worst sinner in the world. Everyone else, you try to find an excuse or an explanation or some way to forgive them, saying whatever. I don't know their situation, but whatever it is, they're better than I am. Okay. When you take that position, whether it's objectively true or not, it doesn't matter. The whole point of this is that you are flawed. You are so flawed that you don't get to pass judgment on anybody else. Because who the are you to think that you are okay? So what? You didn't whore yourself out on the internet. Bravo, good for you. Let's look at your browser history and see what kind of whoring you've been doing. Okay, or whatever else, or all the lies you've told, or all the this you've done, or all whatever. Okay, so we can put that to bed, and anyone who's calling them a Christian can call themselves a Christian, and I don't care if you're Orthodox or not Orthodox or some mush variety. That should be your starting position. Okay, this is the problem I have a lot of times with evangelicals and a lot of I just call them mush Christians now, is they think that baptism is the end. Baptism is the beginning. Okay, when you become baptized in Christ, you've started something. You now are a spiritual antenna. There is all the work is ahead of you. It's not behind you. You don't just get saved and you're good, right? Like, no, you got to continue. And look, you're going to fail. I'm going through Great Lent. This Great Lent, much different Lent last year. I've just been like for the last 2 weeks been assaulted by every bloody temptation. Ones I thought I didn't even have anymore, like just weird ones, right? Like, weird lustful things and all this other shit coming up, and everything trying to derail me, right? Just kind of push me off. It happens, man. You're going to have to struggle with this stuff because you're aware of it and you understand that these things are problems. So deal with it. The same thing with anyone who used to be this or that. Forgive them and move on. Because I hate to break this to you, for the majority of people we're talking to, it doesn't affect your life at all. Is your son marrying an OnlyFans or ex OnlyFans girl? No, then shut up. What do you care? Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
I got a lot of people saying these women are irredeemable. They must spend the rest of their lives repenting of their sin in monasteries. And I was like, okay, even granting your premise, sure, let's say that's true. I don't see you building monasteries. I don't see you encouraging others to build monasteries, facilitating the process, getting involved in trying to recruit women for these monasteries. There's existing monasteries. You could go recruit these women to those monasteries if you cared about it. So you don't
gonna be a
actually
monk?
care about it.
get them a ticket to Russia, because like the Saint Serov's nunnery is booming right now.
Yeah.
Lots of women join that nunnery. Go ahead. It was even prophesized that the majority of those nuns will be saved. Will be will make it through, except for I think 3. Imagine being those 3. But like, go promote, like do something. Do something.
Yes. Father Seraphim said, he said to always justify other people's sins and never justify your own. So
Right.
in other words, you have to always find an excuse for every sin that if you see someone sinning, you got to find an excuse for them, because you are the worst sinner. There's no excuse for your sins. You are the worst. Never justify your own sins. Always justify other people's sins. That doesn't mean sanction those sins or say those sins are not sins. It's saying that they were, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They're sinning in ignorance, and you're granting them the grace that they're sinning in ignorance. So in this particular case, these women are not, they're archetypally, they're not predators. They're not the people going out trying to get themselves into sin. This is I wrote down here, I was trying to think about this. I said, women sacrifice themselves physically pursuing spiritual safety. So a woman is going to use the thing that she can sell, sex, and she's going to use that to try to get someone who's going to provide for her spiritually, whatever that means to her. Men, on the other hand, sacrifice themselves spiritually pursuing physical gratification. So the dude who's got 10,000 hours watching porn in his life, he's probably even more run through than she is, because men and women are different. They're affected differently by different choices. So for a man being a hardcore porn addict, like for a man having, say, a body list of 50 people or whatever, that means something substantially different than a woman having a body list of 50 people. For a man, having 10,000 hours of porn watching in his life is probably the equivalent. This is probably pretty average for a lot of guys. Some are 5,000 to 10,000. Then you're talking, this is probably the equivalent to a woman having like 200 bodies. This is the average guy. So the excuse here for the women, so we're finding a justification for these women. That justification is they went looking for something because it wasn't there for them. They were looking for a good man. They were looking for a man who would do what a man is supposed to do with her. And they had poor judgment. They didn't know how to pick out a man. Maybe these women didn't have fathers around or had poor absent fathers. So they're going and they're looking for this father figure to take care of them and provide for them, to help them build out their nests. And they're going to give up what it is that they can give up. Imagine if men could sell their sexuality the way that women can. Can you imagine how every single man who ever lived would be a prostitute? Every single man. This is something Cooper said to me. He was like, if a dude could sell himself the way a woman sells herself, literally every single man would sell himself for sex. So make it a hooker. Yes. Yes.
And make it really sound ultimately heroic, and like I am sacrificing my body for the greatness of like blah,
he would
blah.
come up with every justification in the world to make it seem like this great noble feat that he accomplished. And he would probably believe it. Because this is the way that men are driven. This is how a man will operate if he doesn't have the constraining effect of a woman on him.
Or of God. This is
the woman is the hand of God restraining man. That is how God restrains men, is through women.
Yeah, it's almost like the ick is is God's way of telling you you're straying, my friend. Like,
Yeah.
you got to come veer off the ick. You got back to the path. Yeah, no, it's I think all these things are conceptual, right? And this is the problem with scapegoating, is that the scapegoat always becomes everything that's bad. Everything that's bad and wrong in society goes onto this group of this person, and it's not me. I don't have to deal with it. It's them. So OnlyFans girls becomes well, you're the problem in society. This is my problem with the pearls and the red pills and all that stuff. It's like, look, you can identify this thing being a problem. That's fine, right? But saying that everyone who's doing this thing is also the problem, and it's doing it on purpose or doing it for malicious intent, or in the Knowles interview, the one clip you shared on your show, Kyle, was at near the end where and I'm going to just assume that the person is sincere, because why not? She even said, like, she was like, I feel horrible for all the damage I've done to all those men. Like, I was I was part of that process of leading them astray and doing spiritual harm to them, and she's repenting of that. Like, okay, maybe she's not sincere, maybe she's got a grift, maybe she's got this, maybe she's got, I don't know, right? But let's just, if that segment is anywhere veering close to true, and again, okay, let's say she's whatever, right? Well, she's going to be she's a model now. So how many other OnlyFans girls are going to do the exact same thing? Because they will, because that's how this shit works. This is why the prediction is going to come true. It's why neo-trads I'm calling them now TradZ, trad with a Z, help me popularize the term, because they're going to be such a strong mimetic trend that everyone's going to start to do it. Why? It's different, and it's also, at this point, subversive. The most subversive thing you can do in society is become some mush Christian. Now, let me find if I can find this.
And I'll add to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Probably, I don't know, 80-90% of those will likely be insincere. Like, as it becomes more and more fashionable, like, by definition, the early adopters, like, the very earliest adopters are probably sincere. Then the next earliest adopters are probably insincere. But it doesn't matter. Like, it makes no difference to me whatsoever whether this chick is sincere or not. Because, number one, like, what is my opinion? Me saying, yeah, I believe she's sincere. Okay, like, I'm just, like, trying to advertise my sincerity detector or something. There's nothing there. I'm not bringing anything to the table by saying I think she's sincere, and I'm not doing it by saying she's insincere either. Who cares if she's sincere or not? Whatever. Either way, she's going to make an impact on people who will actually take a look at their own lives and actually, because you're seeing LARPing is praxis. So if someone is LARPing the path to the gospel, who cares if they're sincere? Doesn't matter. This is how it begins. You begin doing the motions. Doesn't matter if your heart's in it or not. You just begin doing it.
That played a big role in how I came to Christianity. It's like people like Jordan Peterson started putting out these ideas that Christian morality is good for the world. Basing our society on those values is good. So I started, like, aping that. And then as my life did not improve, I was like, oh, I'm missing the main point of this,
Right.
Joshua Hamlin in the comments said, I married a big-tittied goth girlfriend who was a single mom. She milked the cow this morning, baked bread all day, took care of 3 young kids, etc. Not because she was forced to, because she wants to. Exactly. How mimetics work. Okay, mimetics 101, little Girardian 101. People, fans of the show know what I'm talking about. People new, people bear with. The assumption here, the primary assumption, which I think bears out to be true, is that all desires are external. So you don't know what to want until it is presented to you in some way, shape, or form. This is not like needs. You need food, you need all those things, but wants, like, what do you want to do with your life? How do you want your life to look? I bet she milked the cow. I know when I was like, big titty goth girl, and then milked the cow. I was like, where are we going with this?
You gotta make
I
sure
was a little
daddy
bit hesitant.
You got to make sure daddy's taken care of, man. That's an important chore.
On Great Lent, nonetheless. Matt, what are we doing here?
That's why I had to type it. I couldn't say it out loud. I was like, no, words come back.
No. It's either way. Let me put the glasses on. Hang on. There we go. There we go. Now,
Yes, grandfather.
yeah. Where was I at? Oh, so mimetics. Okay, so desires are external. As people, and so we're always looking for models of how of who to do who's living a life that we don't want to live. What do they have? What are they doing? This is so I'll tell you the process I use to make these predictions, and anyone can do this. It's a combination of Girardian mimetics and a little bit of Pajot symbolism. What Pajot is always talking about for cultural symbolism is you look at the edges. Look at the edges of society, and as they move in, because the edges is almost like where the new ideas are get generated, they'll move in towards the center. As they move in towards the center, it's almost like a filtering process. So weak ideas or things that aren't going to work out get dispersed. Stronger ideas start to coalesce, and you start to see more and more and more of it. So my first inclination was watching all those Instagram women doing like traditional cooking shows. And I was like, there we go. That's it. Right. Because and you look at the view counts on those things, and it's like in the millions. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously desire for this, and everyone's commenting on this, and both left and right. Oh, it's fascism. It's this, right? Get rid of the noise. It's coming in. It's a model that people can model. Okay. So now, and this goes into, we're looking at with the woke and stuff of that. The biggest problem with wokeism as a civic religion is there's no redemption. It's all judgment, all condemnation, no redemption. So post-COVID, all these people coming out who are very pro-COVID coming out and saying, we need forgiveness, right? People should forgive us because of we know not what we do. So now there's a forgiveness desire coming in. So people are projecting the desire of redemption. Well, what religion promises redemption more than any other? That's very accessible. Christianity. So they create this sort of mush Christianity, and this will be part of the TradZ. And this is why I'm saying part of this will be good. There'll be some really good stuff coming out of this. A lot of it's going to be cringe. And if you're on the dissident and you think, oh, this is going to enfranchise us, no. We're still going to be on the out because we're going to be the unfortunately for us, we're going to be the true believers, right? The real hardcore judgment that they won't want anything to do with. And I feel this is why you're getting all these hit pieces on Orthodoxy recently. And it has nothing to do with Russia. Interesting thing, Buck Johnson, friend and brother of the show, tweeted out that I think this was on the main, so I'm not spoiling anything, but the Daily Show has been reaching out to a whole bunch of Orthodox podcasters trying to get them on. That's interesting to me because why? We have no power. We're not that interesting. Why are they going to start attacking Orthodoxy? Well, because, and again, whether this is coordinated or not, doesn't really matter. It's happening. And what's happening is because it's mimetic, it's just going to start happening all over the place. They want to create a mush Christianity that even Richard Dawkins can go, yeah, it's fine, right? And exclude anyone who's, might spoil the party. Anyways, that's me talking too much. What do you guys think about that?
Why is Buck Johnson a magnet for these vultures, man? Just like what, a month ago he had that article in the Texas Times or whatever it was. People just coming after Buck with the long knives. The Daily Show now.
It's because he's a Gen X podcaster with tattoos.
Oh, Gen X firefighter, yeah.
Yeah. One of the signs that this was coming, that you probably could have predicted this even a long time ago, is that well, first of all, to lay the groundwork for that, I was telling Cooper this on the phone the other day. I said, when you really think about it, like all modern culture just follows like middle upper class white women. That's the focal point of They're the trailblazers. Everyone else is mapping their behavior around them. And what is more prolific on social media now, especially Instagram, which is like the preeminent, Instagram and TikTok are like the preeminent platforms for women. And there's like crunchy mom stuff, homeschooling, being a stay-at-home mom, and like cooking organic, like picking food out of the gardens and cooking your food for yourself. This is all seen as aspirational and high class. Like sundress nationalism is just a whisker away from this.
Mhm.
This is what's very, very fashionable, even among like ordinary normie lib women. They're all beginning to incline this way.
You can afford to have a stay at home, to have your wife stay at home and raise
Exactly.
6 kids. Oh well,
Exactly.
you're doing very well.
And you have acreage, and you've got some animals, and then you do partnerships with other big Instagram moms, and you have your meetups, and like this is the thing that's really, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago, like crunchy mom and homeschool mom stuff was like it was a tiny, tiny little niche, and it was all just sort of like moms that were like, I guess I'll post on social media about my life, and people are like, oh, I like that. And now it's become a thing where it's like major brands are all completely leaning into this.
Yeah, you're going to see just more and more of it. I can't find the tweet, but I think it was Mark Andreessen posted this. Someone had made a comment about like why you have the smoking ban, people who shit on cigarettes but smoke pot, right? There seems to be a dichotomy, and he brought up it's a class issue actually, because smoking pot is an upper class and lower class thing.
Yep.
And cigarettes is a really middle class thing.
Yep.
So the elites and the poor, in a weird way, are always modeling each other in a weird way. The elites will take what the poor are doing with the most like déclassé thing and make it classy.
Yes, they take something from the fringe. They take something from the fringe and pull it into the center to get Pajovian. The fringe thing is the thing that's weird and gauche and just doesn't fit in with everything, because this is what you have to do. You want to be mainstream, but you also want to be unique. So you have to keep inventing what the new mainstream is to be more and more unique. Well, where are you going to find that? You're not going to find it in the center. You're going to have to go out to the fringes. So you're going to get something that's every single fashion trend starts off as some weird, low-class, niche, like odd little thing that just catches the eye. And all you have to do is get the bougie white women to take it on, and it's going to go everywhere.
Explode. Right.
Like probably 90% of global GDP is driven by white women in the US who are middle to upper class. Yeah.
I mean, those numbers are going to get skewed now because it's so fucking expensive to do anything. Like it used to be like $100,000, $100K a year was like doing really well. Now it's like you're struggling, like household income or personal, because like, you know, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting because, you know, as we're moving into with the competency crisis and all this other stuff, and demographic crunches, we might really move back to single, you know, one member of the family working and the other member of the family staying home. That doesn't necessarily have to be the male or female, but most likely be man goes to work, woman stays home, just for a financial thing, because there won't be as many jobs, or the jobs that are out there are going to be paying dick. So it's like, well, you add up all the expenses of going to work and you weigh it against what you're being paid. And it's like, you're basically just being paid to go to work. And many such cases I hear and see this a lot.
And which jobs are going to disappear? The jobs that are going to disappear are going to be the email jobs, paper pushing jobs.
Exactly.
Women's jobs are going to get automated the quickest.
Right. And as AI takes over and more of these in these what do we call them, divisions? I don't know, whatever you want to call them. It'll take over and a whole bunch of people get shit canned. Well, what are you going to do, right? Start a TradZ cooking show apparently on Instagram. That's what you're going to do. Wear a very nice sundress, a very nice frock.
You know, there's an interesting phenomenon that I've been getting into real estate investing more lately, and so I've been doing lots and lots of research on stuff. And there's a new company that is on the rise that I think is going to become a household name before too long, called Pad Split. And what they do is so if a pad split house you want is probably going to be in like a C or a D neighborhood, probably want to avoid an HOA, because what they do is they take a normal like 3 or 4 bedroom house and they take the common areas and turn them into rooms. So they're creating denser housing within single family homes. You can get up to like 6 or 7 people in like a 3-bedroom house. If they've got a garage, if they've got a patio you can enclose, like you can turn, they have their legal requirements for how you have to do this. But then they're renting these out by the room, and the company recruits all the tenants. You have to become a member of the company in order to apply for the housing. But then they charge by the week, and it's like, I don't know, $175 to $275 a week, depending on the market. So from the homeowner's perspective, you can, if you're getting into real estate investing, you buy these homes. These are homes that are by definition depressed in value because they're older, they're outside HOA neighborhoods, they're going to be a little more run down. This is like working class neighborhood stuff. This is actually going to drive up that real estate value, because if you can put 7 people, charging them each $200 a month or $200 a week to stay in these houses, then you can cash flow. I mean, you could be paying a $2,000 mortgage and have a $6,000 income coming in from this. So this is going to drive up the value of these ostensibly lower valued homes. But what it's also doing is it's moving people back toward living as families, getting them into denser pods, pardon the term. And what I really expect to see happen is this is going to take off in 55 and over communities, because you can build Golden Girl homes and little old ladies who are on a fixed income because their husband died and they blew all of their money going on cruises and stuff during their life. She can't pay $2,000, $2,500 a month for a mortgage to maintain her house, so she's going to sell it off and pay $800 a month.
So 10 next saying that's awful. I'm assuming he's referring to, or sorry, they're referring to the concept of people living in these kind of like pods. Well, we'll call them whatever you want to call them. That's just how people used to do things,
right? Like until like 75 years ago.
My grandparents bought, like my grandfather built a house in Montreal. It was a duplex, and his parents lived on the bottom floor with some of their kids, and you had just family dwellings, and everyone just put money in, built the house, paid off the mortgage. That's what you did, right? And that's how people used to live forever. Did we talk about this? I think we did on one of the civilization shows. Is that people always talk about feudalism as this horrible bad thing? I'm like, look, I'm not saying I'm not promoting it. I'm not saying that it's great or it's going to solve all your problems, but it's also like, please tell me how this is bad. Like, right. what is the bad thing exactly?
A formalization of what it already is, essentially.
Right. Company towns, when we're talking about civ capital, and part of my process of thinking was like, what if I'm just building a mechanism that will build company towns? And then I had to think about it. I'm like, well, what would be so wrong with a company town technically? Like, now you might say, well, this one's good. Oh, they all do these evil things. I'm like, all of them? Okay, so you're telling me that so the system itself produces evil. Is that what you're telling me? How? Like, point that out to me, because I'm trying to do the mental math on it. I don't see how the system automatically equals bad, right? Now, bad people are going to do bad things. Oh, okay.
Right, right.
Yes, you got me. you get wet in the rain. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
a significant percentage of the towns in America were company towns up until like the 50s.
Right.
This is you had the major captains of industry who went and set up their major companies in towns, and like that was the reason that the town existed, was was built up around this company and its employees and all of its vendors and everything. Like it became a center of trade. And so people built out around it, and then gradually you transition things over. They were incorporated into as actual cities and towns within the states. But company towns is like the way that the West was built, essentially.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, factory towns became almost like company towns or factory towns, and then of course they closed down all the factories, and it's like, well, you should just so then and the towns went to shit, and then your civilization went to shit, and this is why we don't live in a civilization anymore, because look to the edges. Okay, what's on the edges of your country, on your civilization? Well, it's towns and villages. That's where, if you actually add up all your population and you differentiate between your cities and all your towns, technically more people live in towns overall than they do in cities. So if the majority of your population is living in towns, technically, and your towns are going to crap, and they're all trying to move into cities, which is disastrous because it's just destroying cities now, what are you going to do? Well, rebuild the towns. and then from there you can actually rebuild your civilization. Like I don't know how more simple I can place this in people's minds, but it's like, look, we'll build it. It's like Build-A-Bear with this idea, right? Take my apple pie prediction. It's coming true, right? Okay, a lot of the same thought processing that goes into making the apple pie prediction goes into Civ Capital, and goes into Vengeful Sun as well, which we can get into in the second half of the show. Kyle, don't be quiet. Talk. Matt and I will just railroad, man. So you gotta jump in and just like.
I listen to both of you guys so much that I'm just like, I almost feel like I'm listening to a podcast. You know what I mean? I just think that I think about a lot of these people who are currently, they're looked at as being a part of the trad movement, the dissident right movement. And I think that a lot of these people are going to be transferring over into this kind of neo trad thing. You know what I mean? These people are going to take over any kind of credentials, any kind of credibility that they have developed up until this point, and they might be kind of like the leaders up at the forefront of this neo trad thing. I saw a lot of that. Do you remember the Cake Gate thing? There was this girl. She was, I think her name might have been Isabella something. She was baking a cake. She had a bowl. She's stirring the bowl. She's wearing an apron,
the tight top,
tight
thing.
T-shirt. Yeah. She's a well-endowed lady. But people were freaking out about that. They're like, you're not modest. You're not traditional. And then the catfish lady comes out. You remember the catfish lady?
I just did an episode with LB Muniz talking about Sweeney's tits and Hannah, I forget her last name.
Baron.
The catfish lady.
Yeah, so a lot of these people,
symbols of the time.
A lot of these people who had a real problem with the Cake Gate girl, the well-endowed baker, they were cheering this Hannah Baron girl on, and it's like this Hannah Baron girl is way more scantily clad than the cake girl. So like, what are you basing this on? It just seems to be based on nothing. It's like neo-trad bullshit. It's virtues. It's like right-wing virtue signaling at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and also the term grifter gets thrown around so much. It's like, look, we are all grifting. I'm grifting right now. Hey, look, by the way, let's just take this moment. This is a nice transition. Mona, thanks for the $5. This is for the Gold Tooth Guild. I will buy one, by the way. If I get enough money, I will buy a gold tooth and film my wife's reaction. It'll be priceless. You can also send me money directly. I pinned it on the top there in the chats on YouTube. You can always send me money directly to PayPal. Help me pay some bills. Be much appreciated. The struggle is real, so anything you can do to help me out, I appreciate each and every one of you. Of course, and thank you for all the views, likes, shares, subscriptions, yada yadas. It's as I say, it's always deeply humbling, and I appreciate all of you for doing so. Okay, where was I going with this? Catfish girl,
grifting.
Oh yeah, grifting. Thanks. The grift is real. If you're doing any of this, we're grifting. Now, whether we're grifting directly for money or for views or for whatever fulfillment we're getting out of this, we're doing it. So, yes, I think with the Hannah one, someone on her stream or someone also had a Black Rifle coffee energy drink thing, and so everyone's like, aha, see, like if I wear Nikes or something like that, I'm obviously shilling for Nike or something stupid, and maybe she is, and maybe that is, maybe whatever, fine, let her pay bills. What's the thing? Like, I don't get it. Like, people are making money from doing the thing they're doing. Okay, do you not make money doing the thing you're doing? I don't know. Like, what's the? Oh, if they're making money off it, no, too Jewy. No bueno. It's like they have to be impoverished and yet popular somehow. I don't get it. And Matt, any ideas?
I couldn't help but think about that with that Nala stream when she talked with Michael Knowles. She said that her and her new husband have started a TikTok agency, and they have also started a clothing company. And I'll admit that immediately my hackles did get a little raised. I was like, she's just trying to make money. But I would love to be making money off of my podcast that I'm doing. I would love to do that. I just feel hypocritical, throwing shade at her. I mean, it just seems silly.
Yeah, who cares? Like, people who don't share your values are going to do things and make money. Just whatever, like, shitty people are going to own companies and be profitable. Are you just going to spend the rest of your life just rampaging and shaking your fist at shitty people who own companies and they're profitable? This whole right wing Twitter sphere has become incredibly penetrated by the Frankfurt School. This is all just critique. It's just empty critique, constantly criticizing, deconstructing over and over and over and over and over again with no positive there's nothing positive on offer. There's just simply, that's wrong and bad and I don't like it. That's wrong and bad and I don't like it. It's just a peanut gallery. There's something that Ten Neck here said. Go ahead.
Yeah, good. No, I think it's something else I said about millennials. It's a very millennial thing to shut down conversations, to find the thing to shut down the conversation, to go, to find the exception to whatever you're saying and go, well, no, that's not true in Libya in 1945. You're like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
So you just don't want to talk then. We're at we don't really want to have a conversation point. Great, fine.
We're just having conversations about how we don't have conversations.
Right. Good. Sorry. Go ahead, man.
Ten Neck said, living in a single family home with 600 other strangers, awful. And yeah, I think that sounds awful. I don't want to be in that situation. But here's the thing. For the person who's already in that situation, this is a godsend. Now, suddenly, you could cut your housing cost in half on a monthly basis. What is that going to do for someone who's made bad decisions? Now they have an opportunity at redemption. A little bit of grace has been offered to them, where now they can rent a room. This is all I need. I just need a room. There's this thing in Europe that apparently doesn't exist in America anywhere called hostels, where you could just go rent a bed somewhere. This is very hard to find in the US. There's a lot of bougie options. But if you're going to go try and Airbnb a room for a night or something, it's not going to be cheaper than a hotel. It's probably going to be more. So for someone who's down on their luck, but they don't want to live if you go to one of these hotels where you live at the hotel and you pay a weekly rate to stay there and live at that hotel, that's not a nice place to live. I would much rather live in a neighborhood, even if it's not a great neighborhood, it's just a neighborhood with some other people who are also basically down on their luck, people like me who need a place to stay. We've all got jobs, we're going to work, and we just come home and we're just working our way back up again. Now you can get those people. Someone like that could even, if they were really a go-getter, they could use that money that they're saving on the housing cost every month, and they could put that toward buying a property themselves and dividing it up and putting it out and offering it to other people. This is part of the reason why I have a really hard time with any of the apocalyptic doom-saying scenarios, because all of these things don't account for human ingenuity. They don't account for the ability of human beings to just come up with solutions to problems. But we need more people coming up with solutions to problems and not so many people just complaining that the problem exists. actually going and doing something to solve those problems. So if you don't like the thought of ladies of the night wandering around on your streets, and you think they all need to repent and go live in monasteries, then frickin' go start preaching to them to repent and go live in monasteries.
I better have a
the actual
monastery for them to
solution.
go to.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there isn't one, then you build it. And if you don't have the resources to build it, go find the people who do. Recruit them, pull them together, make phone calls, look for investors. Go figure out a way to actually solve the problem.
Yeah. Or put together a team that can do it, or whatever, right? Like, stop saying it can't work. It's not gonna fix. Oh, it's all over. Okay, stop saying that and just go, what if? And this is just to go to civilization capital for a second. This is why it's important to say we don't live in a civilization anymore. Start from 0 and build to 1.
Yes.
Don't assume anything. Just take it for granted that you no longer live in a civilization, and it is on you and on to build it again. So how do you do that? Well, let's figure that out. It's not an easy answer. It's not like I can just go into trades. Oh, okay. Well, and then what? 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 Answer the and then what constantly through your life. If you hit a roadblock of going, well, I don't know how to proceed, go to a priest or come to us, because we are from the internet and we are here to help you.
We're here to help you find a priest.
Right, exactly. We'll help direct you. But seriously, it's like if all the energy you're using to bitch and complain and feel bad about yourself online, if you redirect that energy into just fixing one thing, you'll fix one thing. And what a wonderful thing that'll be. You'll have one, I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Well, fix the thing, right? Let's go back to the OnlyFans thing. And this is a constant refrain, And of course, I know in the comments, people are like, well, you're promoting men marry whores. I'm like, yes. You know what? Yes. I'm promoting men wearing whores. That's right.
I want women who are whores to have men who are legally responsible for them.
Right.
I don't want these women who are whores to be out just rampaging the streets. Yes. Correct.
I want people who have a track record of making bad decisions for their life to get with someone who hopefully will make them make better decisions for their life. Bravo. Yes. Marry the whore. Anon, who's sitting there, with 10,000 hours of porn on your browser and doing nothing with your life other than feeling like you can have passing judgment on people. Yes. Go marry a whore and figure that out.
And at the very least, recognize that if you're not going to go do that, that's a shortcoming on your own part. That's not on her. That's on you.
I pretty much laid that out in that podcast I did. It's like, I don't know that I am the type of man who is cut out to marry a Nala. I don't know that I have that. That seems like it's beyond me. In one of the voice chats that we were in on the King Pill Discord, I was talking with Jason. You were in there, but this was after you had left. It's like, if you're a master mechanic and you are looking for a car, you can buy a car that is a lemon because you can put the time and effort into fixing it. If you're not a master mechanic, you should probably avoid that car, but don't imagine that you're going to be getting a Ferrari because you're not getting that lemon. You got to be realistic about it.
So there's a paradox here that the quote unquote low value women are actually, they belong to high value men. They are going to require high value men. So it's fine. Like, most guys absolutely should not go out and marry an open whore. Maybe you should even go marry just like a chick who, goes on dates and sleeps around a little bit. She's just kind of a bit of a floozy or something. Maybe you should marry one of them because you can't handle it. Not because she can't, because you can't. You are too weak. You don't have the resources. You don't have the network. You don't have the career stability. You may not have the desire. And that's like the worst of it all, because you can get all the rest of that if you have the desire. But if the desire is going to betray you, then so be it. But at least recognize now, this isn't she's some whore who I'm just too good for her. No, you can't handle her. She's a mess. She needs to be fixed up. She's a fixer-upper. She's going to require an actual investor to come in, not just some dopey retail buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, these are all reflections on you. Really put the grandpa glasses on. Okay. Let's talk about marriage for a second. Matt, you're married. Kyle, you're not, but God bless.
I'm trying.
Bless you.
I'm putting myself out there.
You'll get there. You'll get there. I don't know who's married in the chat or not, so you can sound off if you want. I know Josh is in there, whatever. Okay. This is for all the Anons who are not married, who now think they have all these ideas about marriage. Let me tell you something about marriage. Okay. Going into my 10th year. You're going to go through shit in your marriage. Okay? You're going to go through shit kind of out of nowhere. Because the guy from, what's his name? The cowboy guy who gives advice had this one video that really stuck with me. It's like you go through these cycles. Like every 3 or 4 years, you just have these moments in your marriage where you're going to get into conflict. And it's almost like a shit test of your marriage. Like, you know, is this going to, are we continuing? Are we changing as people that can coexist together? You know, you have kids, and that brings a whole different dynamic in, right? You got to balance all these things. Yeah, it's not easy, but it's also not that hard. What it requires of you as a man, I'll just talk to the men here, is you got to get over yourself. Okay? You're not the most important person in the world, and you never were. And anyone who ever told you that, maybe your mommy told you that, well, that was good when you were a kid. Now you're an adult. You got to get over it. Okay? You are not the most important person. Your job is to sacrifice for your family and have them see you sacrifice, but never draw attention to it. You're not supposed to be going around going, whoa, look at all the great things I'm doing. Like, shut up. Just do it. Just do it. You know, that's not fair, you might say. Yeah, you're right. It's not fair. You want fair? Go back to kindergarten. You want to be a little fucking baby? Go back to kindergarten, right? Suck on your thumb, watch your anime, and shut up. And
go home
away.
to mommy.
Yeah. I'm going to get, where is it?
That's a Trump. We need to find that Trump drop.
Okay, this is my idiot loser and smell deodorizer, okay? Fuck away from me. Get it away from me. No more time for this shit, okay? You don't got time for it, man. Father Sarah Rose said it's later than you think. Matt Erickson said it's sooner than you think. I'm telling you, I don't give a shit what you think, okay? It's because I'm fucking fed up. Like, stop thinking you know what you don't know. Especially, and I'm serious, the next motherfucker who isn't married, who's been sitting, you know, fucking in his coom pod, and who now thinks he's going to tell me what the fuck marriage is all about, you can get the fuck out of my way. Because either sit down and shut up and listen, or continue in your little fantasy land of what magical marriage you think you're going to have is going to be, right? Go find. Here's the thing: you're going to find your nice big virginal big titty trad wife. You're going to get married and find out she's got a gambling problem. Then what do you do, asshole? Right? You're going to get married. You have to find your perfect, you know, virginal little Asian submissive wife, and find out she 10 years in, she starts cheating on you, right? Or lying to you, or disrespecting you in some other way, or raising your kids to hate you, or whatever. Find a scenario, whatever the thing is, and what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to deal with it. Because if you make the decision in your mind that this marriage goes to the end, this marriage goes, you know, we take this to the end, where this is the touchdown zone. Nothing's going to happen outside of maybe something completely fucking, you know, crazy. If I start finding dead bodies, maybe that's the time to go, okay, divorce. Like, we gotta cut this out. But other than that, you just deal with it all. And the way you deal with it is you deal with yourself and make sure you're not the one sinning, or you're going to be sinning, but you try to control that as much as possible, mitigate that. So you become the moral center. You become the model. That's how you fix it. You want to fix these girls? You become the moral model.
C.S. Lewis said, I remember exactly how he phrased it, but basically he said that motherhood is the career for which all other careers exist to support. So every career except motherhood exists for the sake of supporting motherhood. So when you, as a man, marry a woman, she is now more important than you are. When you have a child, that child is now important than the two of you combined. And you exist to serve them through whatever they choose to do. This is what you're doing. You're signing up and saying, whichever route this goes, I'm on board, and I'm going to do whatever is necessary to make it happen. That is going to require you, like you said, Jason, to get the fuck over yourself. You can't, you're going to have to pick your battles. You're going to have to get real good at fighting battles and real good at ensuring battles just don't happen. Like settling ahead of time before you even have the battle. You have to be able to think about this way and continue moving things forward productively. When you're sitting in theory selling and trying to figure out exactly what it's like. Like I'm telling guys now, go start doing sales. If you're feeling like stagnant and just sort of like, maybe I kind of like my job or whatever, but I can't find a wife and I'm unhappy and I'm sitting here doom scrolling on the internet all the time, spice your life up. Go get a fucking sales job. Go knock on some doors on the weekend and go out of your way to get people to reject you, to say no to you. You want them to say no to you as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. Get these no's out of your system. Because if you're sitting here and you're theory selling and spurging out over this stuff and like, the legal system, I can't, you sound like a wimp. You just sound like a spineless dude that needs some fucking sand in his pants. So go out and get some sand in your pants by telling people to say no. Go up to them and tell them to say no to you. Like, I need people to say no. I need to get used to being rejected by people because that's what's going to start building your confidence. And you need confidence. All of this, like freaking out about the quality of women, this is just low confidence projection from losers.
Yeah, no, I was saying to Kyle before we went on is that part of the way you build capital, the way that you have a competency is to be confident. You have to project. It's that fake it till you make it thing, which I think is horrible advice. But the one thing that you always have to come from is a point of confidence, competency, right? Like if you're confident that no matter what happens, we're going to deal with it. You know, audio goes down, the light falls down, whatever. Fuck it, we'll deal with it. Just deal with it. Move, roll, keep going. Right?
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. That's big balls shit, man. Yep. Right? Like, because you know that, yeah, I don't need all these things are good to have, but I don't need them. You know, if my car breaks down, I'll walk. You know, like whatever it is, you figure it out. And the way you want to build a confident life is to understand where you're vulnerable. How many vulnerabilities do I have? Why I moved, one of the big reasons why I moved my family from Montreal to Australia after my daughter was born. It was during COVID and all the lockdowns, all that crazy times. But regardless of all that, I looked around. I had a moment where I had to take a inventory of my resources, my life resources, right? And I found myself very vulnerable in many dimensions that made me very uncomfortable. And the move from Canada to Australia to my wife's bigger family, so now my daughter has a big family as insurance almost, right? Like the people are insurance for her life. So no matter what happens to me, I know she's going to be taken care of. So that was all that was all I had to figure out. Like you make that move, now all these other moves open up for you because I'm not worried about this all the time. If I was in Montreal with like basically a small dying family and a couple of friends, well, something happens to me or something happen, you know, I get injured or, you know, get knocked out somehow or whatever. What happens to my family? What happens to my wife and my child? Right? Like I got to know that so that now I'm confident. Now I can be like, I can make moves. I can make moves confidently and build my competency up, and no matter what I do with it, because I'm not stressed out about that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you say, Kyle? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You read, Kate.
Kate said, so what you're saying is the red pill is kind of full of shit. It gets some things right, but I've always suspected that to be the case to a degree. And I said that a lot of their analysis and diagnoses are accurate and generally pretty insightful, but most of them are crypto nihilists, so their prescriptions are mostly gay. So like if you want to understand like hypergamy and shit tests and what frame is and holding frame and the value of like all these things, yeah, the red pill guys, they get a lot of stuff right. But they're ultimately, the majority of them are not Christian, and they're not really operating from a Christian perspective. And some of them are openly anti-Christian. They're like open hedonists. So when it comes to them actually like prescribing things, they're gonna recommend stuff to you that really it's gunnery. They like the idea that you need to like live in fear of the damage that women can do to you and that you should never get married and the whole legal system's rigged against you. Like this is valuable to know in terms of just like, hey, here's the lay of the land. If you're going to go get married, understand if things go sideways, then you're going to be fighting on your own, an uphill battle. So be prepared for that. What this means is that actually men need to become better. Men need to rise up to this challenge. We need better quality men who can go into a situation like this and thrive in spite of it. Because there's a whole bunch of guys that I don't give a shit about the legal system. And like, if I was to get into divorce and like how Amy could use it against me or whatever, you know why? Because I'm going to make sure that I'm never in that situation. I don't know everything that's going to entail, but I know, okay, here's my standard. Like at the very bare minimum, if I'm just going to be one of these assholes that just barely clears the threshold, at the very bare minimum, I know, do the things that don't put you in this situation. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Do I have to trust her? Yes, of course. By definition, that's the nature of this relationship. If you're going to get into this relationship and be like, you know, I want my pure virgin, beautiful trad wife nobody has ever painted on this canvas because I'm so great and awesome and amazing. I deserve the best thing possible here. You're going to have to trust her. Even her. If you want to get all this stuff like locked into your corner from the front, you're acting like a woman. This is what a woman needs to do. She needs to bend everything to her will to protect her.
If you create a massive desire for that virginal trad wife and you have one, guess what? Everyone wants what you have.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? What did Peter Thiel say? You want a monopoly. You don't want to be entering in competition. Right? Now, it doesn't mean that don't have the virginal trad wife or whatever that, but again, it's like what or whatever. Like, who cares? This is. I said this in the voice in the Discord before I left. I was like, I say these things and people I don't think appreciate this. But I'm gonna wait. Here we go. There's a bit that never ends. Hang on.
You need to get the outline of the glasses added onto like you need a profile of yourself with the glasses on your logo, the mustache.
Lead in. Okay, if you're listening to this and watching this, lean in. I want to tell you something very sincerely. I don't fucking care. Now, you have to understand this. I don't fucking care about 99% of everything in this world. The few things I care about, I care a lot about, right? I care insane amounts about. Everything else, don't give a shit. So, your wife's a whore? Don't care. She's black. She's a tranny Jew Kenyan woman. Whatever. Figure that out. Figure it out. Figure it the fuck out. Okay? Because I'm fucking done. Okay? Like, listen to me. And don't pass judgment on some other guy who's married, you know, Nala or whatever the fuck her name is, or the second, whatever the second or third one version of this will be. Good. They got married. Good. Hope they have kids. Hope they work their marriage and hope the marriage is successful. Good. And if it isn't, oh well, too bad. Fuck off. Like, use your energy other ways. Join me. Don't care. Just don't care. It's amazing how like not doing something is the easiest thing in the world to do. Right? It takes way less energy. Just don't do it. Right? But and I get it. Like as someone who's addicted to cigarettes and a whole bunch of other things, I get how hard it is to stop doing the thing that you really, really want to do. So when you're passing judgment on these people and you're making this big deal out of all this shit, it's because you want to do this. So you have to then ask yourself, why do I want to do this? What is my driving factor here? Like, how is me feeling better than her making my life better? Is it producing wealth and influence and power and real estate and all these other things for you? No. Could you? I mean, make a show about it. At least the I'll say this about the red pill guys: they're making bank. Good for them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so make a show about it. And if you can't do that, then shut the fuck up. That's kind of like the till deer on the show was like, just shut the fuck up.
Even if you can't do what they're doing, make an attempt at it, because if you fail at it, you'll be better at the next thing you try. You know, like constant improvement. You a minute ago, Matt, you were talking about get a sales job, get that rejection in, and it's like I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and there is something to. Like, I believe that men are the head of the household. Men should be leaders, but I think that there's something to the idea that some men are not worth following. And why should a woman who she's got great potential, you know, the one we're all talking about, the virgin 18-year-old big titty, you know, that one. Why does she want to be with you? Go out there, get some reps in, make yourself better, and become a man worth submitting to, because otherwise it's never going to happen.
Yes.
You know, it's a pipe dream, and it's going to always be a pipe dream unless you can develop yourself into that, which is not impossible. You know, I don't like build myself up as some, you know, titan of industry, but I'm trying, and I've been trying for, you know, a few years at this point. I lived a lot of my life just completely not trying, you know, a long time, way longer than I should have. But, you know, eventually something clicked, and now it's like, all right, effort, move forward one step at a time. You're not going to make these giant leaps and bounds until you you get the reps in, and then you do make the leaps and bounds. So that's just where my head is at on that kind of stuff. There's definitely something to there are men who are not worth submitting to, and you need to accept that about yourself and fix it.
Yes.
That just takes me back to that Pete Quinones episode with Charles Spadil. Fix it.
Yes. Yes. You get leave aside the 18-year-old big titty, trad wife prospect. The kind of, homely 5 with an extra muffin top can pull a high value man. There's a high value man who will want to marry her for one reason or another. She has that within her range of outcomes. You, as a kind of beer bellied or skinny fat 5 who, you know, works as a service writer or something like that, you're going to have a hard time pulling like a mid chick, because her standards are so much she can shoot so much higher than you. So the onus is on you to become someone who's worth even the mid chick. And like I don't really look at the world this way, but like this is the language. Like I'm going to speak the language of the way that like you want to try to compare the attraction between the two sides and what the things that they're attracted to and what's most attractive to each other and yada yada yada. But yeah, you got a lot of guys who are just frankly low value men, and they're angry and resentful that they're low value men. But complaining about the fact that you're a low value man is the ultimate impotence signal, because no one in the world controls your value more than you do. Your value exists in other people's minds, but you control it. So you can change your value. You can become a not low value man. And if you're a not low value man, you are going to be attractive to women, because you know what? The women out there they're scrounging around through dung heaps. They're just desperate for a guy who's even just kind of mediocre. So when I hear guys who complain about this sort of thing, like complain about all the thoughts and like all the chicks who won't pay attention to them and how hard it is to be a guy in this age and all that, like I get it. Like I understand. I feel the pain. I spent most of my 20s like desperately trying to find a mate and striking out in really awful ways over and over again. I understand the pain of the loneliness, the desire for companionship, the just wanting to get laid, like all this stuff. I get it. I understand it.
Matt used to be a very lonely man made out of hair. He was a boy made out of hair, just wandering around.
It's like a wolf boy out in the woods.
Do you like knitting?
You want to knit my chest hair for me?
I got it. Just keeps growing.
I think a lot of these angry dudes are blaming the wrong people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why
we need to
we're not
aim it inwards.
Someone in the Kingpill Discord said something the other day about like not being comfortable with people like kicking the incels when they're down. And I'm not saying that every guy that's in this situation is necessarily an incel, but it's fucking 2024. We speak in memes. Like, understand the context here. This isn't kicking the guys while they're down. This is saying like, dude, get the fuck up. You can do this. You're sitting here wallowing around like Kevin from The Office, rolling around in his bowl of chili on the ground. He's like, and it's like, dude, stand up. Stand up on your fucking feet and start walking. That's all you got to do. Just start walking.
Yeah. And historically, this is accurate because when ugly people look, fives exist because other fives fucked and had kids, and they're fives, right? They're passing their five genetic material down the rabbit hole. The thing that social media has done is created this, like, now again we'll go Gerard. It's not just modeling; it's mirroring. So everything is visual. Everything's a surface, and that's where people are getting caught up in. They're thinking, "Well, I got to be Chris Williamson." It's like, no, you need Chris Williamson money. Like, if a woman is a 5 and she's convinced herself she's a 9, and she's looking for a 10 husband, then be the 10 husband. And by the way, that has nothing to do with looks. Like,
yeah,
if there was a video, I was trying to find it, I can't find it, but there was it was making the rounds a little while ago where this I guess mother filmed her daughter coming home from a date, and she was all like, you know, like, he's really nice, and like I went to his house. And like, we didn't have sex. He didn't try to proposition me. And it's like a really nice house that he bought, you know, with his own money. And it's clean. And he bought dinner. And he wants to take me to like some sporting thing. And it's like something. It was very cringy, but cute cringe. And she's like, I like it. And she's like, I kind of want to like live that life. It's like, yes,
let's go.
Right.
And you could tell from the context that like this chick has been with a lot of dudes.
Oh, we got nubs.
And now all of a sudden she's gone through her wild dating phase, and now she gets a taste of it. All of a sudden she's like, wait a second. There's guys like this. There's guys that own their own houses, and they've got good jobs, and they have like social lives, and they're confident and outgoing and like respectful and all of this. Like, this chick went from I'm sowing my wild oats to please put a baby in me and put me on a ranch out in Wyoming overnight.
Right.
All it took was being exposed to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Women,
and all that,
women are very malleable. This is like a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. And all that guy, and here's a pro move. What that guy did is he didn't try to get in her pants on the first date.
Mm-hmm.
That's key.
Oh yeah.
That's how I got my wife too. Just like, you know, have a kiss and go on your way, and you know it'll happen eventually. Don't worry, right? And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But if you're all just like coombrain, like, that's not attractive.
Yeah,
Here's the thing: it's not attractive, and also, by the way, that's how she can make money on OnlyFans, because there's a whole bunch of guys going, like, great. Well, she can finance it. She can buy her own house from that shit, right? Like, don't be in the competition. Be in Monopoly. Own the business. I was talking to Kyle about this a little bit. You know, it's how people. This is a little shot on. Thanks to Logan Daly for gifting 5 podcast memberships. We maybe we'll do a after show hangout after this. What I was saying is like the thing that all these guys are getting wrong with the coffee companies, like the Tim Pool companies, all that stuff. There's like no one's really buying Tim Pool's coffee because of coffee. They're buying it because of Tim Pool, right? And they want to have a connection to Tim Pool. So you could take all that money and make, you know, Chris Williams is doing an energy drink, and he did that show where he's talking about how obsessive and all this stuff he's about the energy drink. Like, imagine you took all that money in capital and invested in controlling the ginseng market in the United States. Like, find out where the ginseng is getting through and take control of that market. Now you own all the energy drinks.
Because if you look at any of those energy drinks, they all have ginseng or whatever ingredient you want. Pick one common one. Control that market. Now you own all of them. That's how you go from having money to being wealthy. That's civilizational capital. And that's that mindset. There's the grind set. Don't just create product for product. Control the entire market of product. Or get 100% of 10% of the market. And you control that. The richest guy I ever knew, who I served at this steakhouse in Montreal, and he had just like beyond money, right? He was the controller of all frozen chicken products, entering or leaving the importing or exporting in the entire Northwest corridor. So like Montreal to New York, whatever. Controlled all of that. He had beyond money. And that's what got me. Like those little nuggets are what gets into your head and go, that's how you do it, right? You don't just. It's not just like you make new chicken nuggets. Like no, control the inventory completely. Now everyone who buys a chicken nugget passes through you somehow. There's your beyond money. You just sit back and produce. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. At how to create more high value. Oh, the shit's going off here. Thank you, boys. Thank you for all the 2-bit memberships. Thank you, Random Username. Thank you, King Pilled. Thank you, Logan. 10 of them. My goodness, boys. See that $2? See, everyone said that setting it at $2 was a silly thing, but you're making it rain, folks, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate it.
Gotta love a low threshold.
Yeah. I'm just noodling now, so sorry I derailed. Take it away. We're at an hour 17. Can I keep you boys on for a little longer?
Yeah.
We can go anywhere you want.
I had something. I lost it though during the gifted membership rally.
Yeah, we were trying to get CB a membership, and we just gifted 16 memberships between me and Logan Daly and Random Username, and somehow we still didn't get CB in it. Sorry, CB, it's not your day.
You play the lottery and you lost, my friend. Someone keep putting memberships in. We'll get CB somehow. We got 79 people watching. How many likes do we have? Less than 79, I'm gonna guess. Hit the like button. Hit the likes, the shares, all that stuff that I always forget to tell people to do. I appreciate when you do it. Any last thoughts on this? I think we've covered quite a bit of territory.
One of the things when we talked about this PayPal Mafia thing for a while, and I became the PayPal Mafia guy. Hold on, we got more.
You know what? Sorry,
damn it, we still didn't get him.
Just as an aside,
I'm trying to get one of those fucking things too. I can't figure out how.
Just as an aside, I was told, I won't mention by who, when I first started thinking about this PayPal Mafia stuff, early on, I was like, yeah, no one's going to want to hear about that. No one's going to be interested in that. I'm like, I think you're wrong, but okay. And then, of course, everybody wants to hear about this thing.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to hear about. Go ahead.
What was funny is that I got a lot of people who were basically saying that this is me saying trust the plan, like there's some sort of plan where these guys are going to come in and save the day. Like no, it's literally the exact opposite of that. It's these guys are doing something. This is going to change the playing field. This means we have the opportunity to position ourselves for taking advantage of this changing playing field. So if you are a low value man, or even if you're not, even if you're happily married or you're happily single, like any of these cases, there's lots and lots of opportunities out here for our guys to start scooping up assets, whether that is real estate, whether it's businesses, whether it's starting our own businesses, whether it's developing investment networks and helping other people build out their companies. There's going to be a need for parallel infrastructure. There's going to be need for innovation, like this pad split thing, figuring out new creative ways to use existing infrastructure to accommodate things and and try to bend the market in our direction. And if not, at least put ourselves in a position where we've got a basket to hold out to catch the stuff that's falling down. There's going to be stuff. If stuff's collapsing, stuff's going to be falling down. So you got to get your basket out there. And if you need a bigger basket, then you got to either figure out how to build a bigger basket or find someone else with a bigger basket who's willing to give theirs to you in return for something.
Yeah. I think you said trust the plan, and it's not trust the plan. It's make a plan. Make a plan.
Yes. And act.
Yeah. And part of making the plan is understanding what's coming down the pipe. This is really why, and all pride and all that stuff aside, why I keep pushing these things isn't just to make myself sound good. It's that, look, you got to understand what this neo-trad thing is going to be and get used to it. It's coming. It's not a negotiable thing. Like, how do we stop this? You don't. What do we do with it? I don't care. Like, I don't care. Do your thing. I'm telling you, I'm a weatherman with this shit. I'm just telling you what's coming. The PayPal Mafia stuff. It's like, this is happening. Well, you can like it or not. It's not Baskin Robbins. I don't really give a shit what you like. Like, it's happening, right? So deal with it, because you're going to have to. And we're giving you this wonderful thing of precog, of somebody saying, look, this is what is coming down the pike. Can you use this information to make your life better, to make some moves? If you can, great. In terms of investment, I'm not giving you investment advice. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just simply saying, like, if you see this thing happening and then you put it into your brain and start to think, okay, how can I use this positively in my life? Figure that out, right? Like, it's better than giving you advice. Advice is usually bullshit anyways. I don't know you. I don't know where your situation is. I could give you the best advice in the world, and it's up to you to follow it. So instead of giving advice, I'm going to give you the best sort of future planning that I can give you. And then that way you can start organizing yourself, which is way better anyways, because you're the one with the problem. You can fix it. And I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's neo-trads are coming. Mush Christianity is going to be a thing, and it'll be on you. It's the same with Eventual Son. I told you, it's happening. It's coming, and the problem with it is going to feel good, and you're going to have to be the one who resists it, and doesn't cheerlead it on, or takes that energy and uses it in good ways and tries to funnel and direct it. If you're not willing to do that, then buckle up, Buttercup, because this shit's going to happen.
I think a lot of the neo-trad stuff is going to feel good too. It's going to be like, I like this. I like apple pie, but it's going to be a shitty apple pie sometimes. They're not all apple pies are equal.
Yeah, and just don't put your dick in it. That's usually
that's a real throwback, man.
Someone made the apple pie with salt instead of sugar.
Yeah.
Right. Whoops. All right, boys, let's wrap it up. Tell the people where they can find you, where they can get your stuff, and we will say goodbye.
You see it right there on the screen, the Two Tongues podcast. We're on all the podcatchers. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. I am at Based Fat Chad on Twitter, and I'm actually slightly less fat Chad at this point. I'm down about 50 pounds since the beginning of the year, and one of these days, the name's never going to change. I'm always going to be Based Fat Chad, but I might be Based Jacked Chad eventually. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's where you can find us. Follow my co-host Chris at Two Tongue Spot on Twitter. Check us out. We talk about a lot of this kind of stuff, Dissident Right, stuff like that. That's what I bring to the table a lot of the time. My co-host Chris talks a lot about religion and philosophy and stuff like that, and I try to indulge him on those things. So check us out.
Real King Pilled on Twitter. King Pilled is the channel on YouTube and on all your podcatchers. And I mean, if you're watching the 2-Bit podcast, I'm sure you're already familiar with King Pilled. But if you're not, come check us out. We've been talking about this sort of thing here for the last few episodes, and we've gotten the folks all riled up. And the funny thing is, I don't know if people realize this, the more riled up you get about it, the more we're going to do it, because It's just how
This
we're
is
wired.
this is why I decided to do this episode. I was actually going to do Vengeful Son, and I was watching some of your stuff you did last week, and then that PC conversation. A few things. I'm like, all right, well, gonna put my glasses on,
And
gotta
then
deal with this one.
all three of us here are all in the King Pill Discord. We'd love for you to come join us there, and we can talk. You could just hop on a voice chat with all of us, and we can sit and talk. And if you disagree with us, then you're welcome to come say so.
Then you're just wrong.
And
You're just wrong.
we'll tell you why you're wrong.
I've been loving that since I've been a part of it. I love the King Pill Discord. It's great.
Good. Glad I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, man. Kingpill.com if you want to join.
And of course, this 2-Bit Podcast available on all the places and all the things. We've been always growing, and yeah. Again, I'll say what I said before. Very, very humbling. Thank you for all this love and support. You can send me money if you want, or send me likes, or share, subscribe, and do the things. All those things are valuable. If you're listening to this on an audio podcast, leave a review, give me 5 stars, yada yada yada. Every little bit helps, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Next week, or depending on when you're hearing this, on April 20th, I will be speaking to Oren McIntyre.
Nice,
about some. I think we're going to dive into a little bit of Nick Land and how that works into Civ Capital. And then on April 27th, I've written down here, Semigog will be coming on to talk some Vengeful Son. So, and we might have some surprise guests coming in as well during that time period. We'll see. What else is going on? Oh, Meet the Based is going to be a new show. There goes my glasses. Meet the Based will be a new show. We're going to be premiering that, I believe, in May. I've been waiting till after Lent because I'm tired boy during Lent, and I've decided to stop stretching myself too thin on that. But Meet the Base will be a weekly panel show, much like this, where we take a subject, we do deep dives, and that'll be fun and interesting. And I expect to see you all there and help support that. Other than that, love you all. Many years. What the comments saying here?
That Meet the Based intro video is that's fire, man. I love that.
It's good, eh? And you know what?
Yeah.
What's good about that? Let me just play that actually, if I can find it. Before we go. I made that literally on the fly. It was one of those things like I had the concept. I've been dealing with the concept. And then I was like, oh, let's just put, I'm like, I want a news sound, right? Like I had the music in mind. I just was like, I don't know where to find it. And I just literally did one Google search. The first thing that popped up, I'm like, played it. I'm like, it's this music. I'm like, there you go. That's it. That's it. And then I was just, because it's like Meet the Press, but based. Hang on, let me find it here. Okay. This scintillating content, folks. Appreciate you bearing with. Oops. Okay, so yeah, this is it. Oops. Is this playing? Oh, maybe I turn the volume off.
I think you keep double clicking it.
Fucking love it.
Gets you jacked, man.
I fucking love it so fucking much. I tell you, I every time I listen to it, I'm like, god damn it, it's good. That's good. So that's coming up in May.
My brain just automatically fills in Peter Jennings' voice after that.
Right?
It just
Is it like it's perfect? It's fucking perfect. And then when I was putting it together on Canva, I made a mistake, and it's like I didn't mean that with Jason Maringer to jump in, but it did. I'm like, that's perfect too. We're ship it, ship all of the units. Like it's great. So that's coming. Be more of us, more of me, more of the show. That's it, folks. Love y'all. I'll play the outro. Boys, stick around and we'll fan for a little bit.